welcome to What the Fo's first ever update video. So we're going to be making vlogs and update videos like this for you Patreons, just to kind of show you what's going on in the background and give you a bit more insight into what we're doing.
So this is the first stop of our big round the world trip, and we don't know how long it's going to last, maybe a year or two. We'll just see what happens. We're currently in Santorini, which is a Greek island. So in this video you're going to see kind of parts of Santorini, what we thought of it, what's coming up on the podcast, and what's coming up further along on our travels. So let's kick this first little update video off by telling you guys, explaining why we've come traveling.
We love traveling so much, it's kind of like our favourite thing to do. And we just had first world problems really. We're just a bit sick of going on a month or 2 month holiday and having to come home. I mean, first world problems. So yeah, we just kind of went travelling. We thought we want more than this. We kind of don't want to work anymore and just kind of want to go travelling full time really. The other thing is as well, we were just getting a bit bored of the whole routine of home. So although I love my job and so did Nick, you kind of go to work, you come home and then you watch TV and then you live for the weekend. And it was just a bit like, we want more from life than this really, and we knew we could do it, so we thought if we just work hard and save for a whole year or however long, save that money, then we can just have the time of our lives. And we're hoping that we can make a business out of the podcast and things like that. So we just kind of wanted to go for that new wave of life really. I've got a tattoo on the side of my ribs. It's a Dr. Zeus quote and it says, "The normal is psychotic." I think that kind of goes back to what I was saying before, where having that schedule at home where you go to work, you come home, you watch TV, wait for the weekend. That to me and Nick is just mental. It's psychotic. And so we kind of want to live our lives in a different way. And the people that do live their lives that way and they're happy, then great. But we weren't happy that way. So we want to change things, flip it up and do what we want to do. So the normal is psychotic, and that kind of reminds me every time that push for what you want. You've always got to go for what you want, because as cool as it sounds, you've only got one life.
Trip. We start here in Santorini in Greece. We then go to another Greek island afterwards called Syros. It's supposed to be less touristy, which will be interesting to see the difference between that and this place, which is very touristy. Then we go to Athens to explore mainland Greece, which would be cool. Then Egypt, Jordan, Cyprus, and Turkey. And then after that, we don't know where we're going, and that's the exciting part. We're just going to see what happens.
And how cheap were our flights from Jordan to Cyprus, was it?
This is unreal. Jordan to Cyprus, £9.99. We couldn't believe it. So even if we don't end up getting that flight for whatever reason, we thought we'd only lose £9. Let's book it. That's a great way to get kind of out of the Middle East area back into Europe. So £9.
And then Cyprus to Turkey was pretty cheap as well.
Cyprus to Turkey was £20. So this is amazing. I thought this part of the world would be quite expensive to fly around, but obviously not. Okay, so coming up soon on the podcast, we've got an episode coming out very soon, in fact. Yeah, it's very windy, my hair.
You look hot.
1st of October, we've got an episode coming out about Luxembourg, which might seem a bit strange because we're talking about how we're now going travelling, we're in Greece, we're in Egypt, we're going to all these places, and then we release an episode about Luxembourg. But we recorded it a little while ago with a friend of ours, James. Really interesting episode. And while that comes out, we've got a couple more in the can that Amy's going to explain in a second. While they're out, we're going to be working on more material here for future episodes. So, after Luxembourg,
We are going to be talking about airfare. So that's something that's just really confusing. There's so many ways to get points off, to get money off and things like that. So we spoke to a guy from Venezuela who will kind of bust all of the myths on all of that and make it less confusing really, so you can work out how you can get flights for free or a lot of money off. So that's our mini episode, and then our full episode after that will be with Carl Watson, no less.
By popular demand.
He's got to be on every series, but we're talking to him about Japan. So if you follow Carl Watson, you'll know that he's just recently been there with his friend James, another James, not the James that's on our Luxembourg episode, but yeah, they went there and we'll be talking to him about that. While we're waiting for our crepe, please tell me, what do you think of Santorini, Nick?
Santorini is beautiful and I'm glad we've come, but honestly, it's not for me. It's just really, really touristy, which I expected. But this is where you come from holiday. If you have like a budget for 1 or 2 weeks and you can just blow it and have a good time, then yeah, come here. These things are quite expensive. It's not the place you come to travel. I could be wrong, but I think I'll prefer Athens, even though people have told me, not my words, people have told me that Athens isn't very nice. But I think I'll prefer that, because that'll be more real Greece, and I think we'll learn a lot of history there, and I think it'll be quite interesting. So Santorini is beautiful, but not for me.
So do you not think you can do it on a cheap budget?
You can do it for cheaper, like we are, but even where we're staying, it's like 30 or 40 euros a night, plus then you've got food on top, and you need to transport to get around the island. So if you're trying to travel cheap for like 10, 20 pounds or dollars a day, you can't do it. So at that moment I was going to ask Amy what she thought of Santorini, but she was too busy eating a chocolate crepe, which treats like that are supposed to be banned on this trip because we're travelling now, we're not on holiday. But anyway, we thought it's like the second day, that's allowed. So
it should be like the last day that is allowed. I think I was just in a bit of a touchy mood, shall we say.
Yeah,
just wanted to give me a present.
Needed some chocolate, some sugar to keep going. So we'll do this now. So we're at the end of Santorini, we're leaving tomorrow. Amy, what do you think of Santorini?
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. I mean, it's such a romantic place. You've got all these cute little alleyways when you're walking through Ia or Fira as well. It's just beautiful. I think people should definitely make their way here. There's ways of doing it on a budget, and there's ways of doing it obviously crazy expensive. I think it's kind of renowned for being a honeymoon destination, isn't it? I'm not sure I'd pick it for my honeymoon, if I'm honest.
No. So why? You'd want something better?
Yeah, there's lots of people and it's very cramped, and I just feel like space is very precious. That was very hard to say. Space is precious. But yeah, I like my own space, and especially for your honeymoon, kind of private rooms, do what you want to do. Things like that. I just feel like you can't really do that, especially in Thera or Ia.
Yeah, it is very cramped. Plus, I think the buildings and the architecture is amazing, but then like the island itself all just looks a bit brown.
Yeah, that's true.
Good.
Like, don't get me wrong, I really think everybody should visit here. It's amazing, it's beautiful, it's everything you'd expect, but I'm just going for a honeymoon, maybe not.
Yeah, and I think if you guys expect it to be busy and there to be a lot of crowds, you won't get so annoyed, but we know a lot of people have turned up, and the number of tourists have just put them off, and it's left kind of a bad memory in their head of Santorini. But as long as you know it's going to be busy, then yeah, I think you'll really enjoy it. But I'm looking forward to moving on to go to a real Greek island where actual real Greek people live, and it's just not covered, not for the tourists. So that's going to be interesting.
That's the end of our first ever update video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments below, and we will see you next time on the podcast or our next video.